We would like to start
Today's class.
Yeah, today's class. Today we'll be looking at automation concepts and techniques rather. Sorry, techniques. So far you've seen, how applications or how workflows flow. That could be a better term. We've looked at the types of control flow. We've looked at how to handle potential errors in our workflow. And actually, before we start today's class, I think we should go over the last class for like next 15 minutes or so. We'll just go over what we did yesterday. Yesterday we looked at errors, exceptions, and error handling. So who can tell me the difference between an error and an exception?
Start on that one. I'm trying to listen. Hi. What is that?
Yeah.
I was feeling
An
down.
error and exception. So who can tell me the difference between the two?
You're feeling depressed. How are you depressed?
Okay, Pick me has her hands up. So let's hear what you want to say, ma'am.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Errors are, from what we see, occurrences that our program is not capable of handling, dealing with. But exceptions are the ones the program can find a way around handling, or errors that are recognized and handled. And the bypass.
Okay, yes, thank you for that. Errors are events that our program cannot handle. Or exceptions are events that we have, let's say we have, or our program can recognize, categorize, and find a workaround or handle. I think we talked about the types of errors. I think you said we have 3 types of errors. We have the syntax errors, user errors, and programming errors. So in 1 or 2 sentences, who wants to tell us about syntax errors? Honesty, Labi. What are syntax errors, honesty? Honesty, syntax errors, or honesty not here. Anyway, who else is in class and wants to tell us what a syntax error is? No one is answering. Okay.
I can say so.
Okay, let me just tell us.
I think syntax error is error from your programming, maybe like where you're supposed to syntax. So programming error, I think.
I didn't get that.
Okay, syntax like where you're supposed to put quotes, you don't put quotes, or where you're supposed to use string, you don't. That's syntax, I think.
Okay, in a way, yes, that's true. That is correct in a way. So the syntax errors are errors where our studio, our UiPath studio cannot process the code that has been written. So let's say you put the wrong thing in the wrong place. As Olamide said, you don't put quotation marks when you're trying to write a string. So that's a syntax error. And then we have user errors. User errors are the errors that occur when a user supplies wrong input. Like when you need to run a process on a number, and then someone enters a letter, so that can lead to a user error. And programming errors are errors that happen based on programming logic. So when our program does not produce the expected outcome, that's a programming error. And as I said, these are the hardest types of error to find, because they require a certain skill set, a certain knowledge of debugging, how the program works to be able to detect them. Then we looked at the exceptions. Exceptions have two types. You have the system exception and the business exception. Now, the system exception are basically exceptions that occur based on technical issues. So, exceptions that occur based on things like our app not responding or a process crashing while we are running. So, while the business exception are exceptions that occur based in mistakes in business logic, like people trying to do things that we are not permitting them to do. So we find ways to, work around or handle those exceptions. And we looked at the three tools or three activities that UiPath provides to handle exceptions. We looked at the try catch, the try scope, and the global exception handler. So let's go into today's topic then. Today we're talking about. Today I want to look at automation concepts and techniques. So far, everything we've been working with everything we've been doing has been working with data that we are inputting manually, or data that we are we are initializing our variables to have in the process or in our workflow. Now, majority of the work you will do as an RP developer is going to be with your user interface, as your UI. And fortunately for us, UiPath provides some techniques or some activities and some tools that we can use to work with our user interface. So you can use these tools to extract information from the data from the screen, as extract words, extract image, not really images, extract tables, extract numbers. I think in the last class, I saw an example when we used our get text activity to extract those definitions or those search results from the screen. So there are other things that UiPath the other things that UiPath provides for us to do those activities. So we look at these techniques and activities in detail in the course of this lecture and anyone that may follow. And I think at the end of everything, you should be able to all extract data, extract information from our user interface or from anywhere that is needed, and use those extracted data in our workflow. So let's dive into it. So first, we're looking at the extraction techniques. Now in UiPath, there are three. Okay, let's start from here. Extraction, as we may know from our knowledge of English, is to remove or to get something from a place. Now in the context of UiPath, extraction is basically we as developers enabling our robots or our processes to retrieve data from from our user interface and use that data for processing or for our other activities along the line of in our process. Now, UiPath has various sources, that is various places where you can extract data from. And those sources include from screen. So screen is anything we can see on our monitor in this case. So anything you can see on our monitor at any moment, we can decide to extract data from that. We can extract data from PDF. So from PDF files that we have stored in our computer memory, we can make activities or projects that would go into those PDFs and extract certain data or all the data in that PDF. We can also extract from images, as from pictures, using some activities. We can extract from Excel spreadsheets, from emails, and from a Citrix environment. Now, each of these things, I think they have their own sets of activities that pertain to the extraction process or the extraction technique, and some activities or some of the techniques which are most common to those activities, I think they include the get text activity. Now, the get text activity simply works by extracting the text value of a specific UI element. That is, it looks at the user interface, and then it extracts the text that is written in that element. So take, for example, once user get text on this screen at this moment in time. What we would extract from the screen is the set of words or the sentences that we can see written here, and only that. Now, for the another type of extraction technique is a get full text activity. Now, the get full text offers more information or extracts more details from our UI element than the get text. Remember, the get text only extracts the text value, that is a set of sentences, a set of strings in any case. What the get full text extracts other things like it extracts hidden text. It extracts things that we can't also see on the screen. So in the case, let's say we have a PDF or a document on our screen, and there are some sentences that are hidden that we can't see. The get full text would have the capability of extracting those data from the documents. Another technique we have is the get visible text. Now, this is basically extracting string and information from the UI elements, but it's using the native screen scraping method. That is, it's working based on what is being shown on the screen at the moment. So it can't get underlined text, like you can't get hidden text, but you can extract other information like the text position. So it can tell us exactly what part of the screen this line is, for example. Then we use a get visible text activity or technique. And the last technique we have here now is the get OCR text. Now, OCR, I think OCR stands for optical character recognition. So this get OCR text uses an OCR engine now to scan a UI element and then scrape or extract data from that element. And it has some advantages, and I guess each of these techniques or methods have advantages and disadvantages. Some are faster than others. The OCR is the slowest among them, while get full text gets the most information. And I think you will see that also as we move on. And then there are some techniques which are used for data extraction. The techniques are screen scraping. Now, screen scraping is a process of looking at exactly what's on your screen at any moment in time and getting and extracting the data from your screen. So you can see how we will use any of these activities to get text or get full text or get visible text, in any case, to scrape data on a screen. And we also have another technique called data scraping. And data scraping is similar to screen scraping in the sense that they both collate data that is on the screen at a point in time. But data scraping differs because data scraping is used to extract structured data, that is data that is in form of tables. So while screen scraping can extract data, can extract any form of data. So when you have documents, when you have images, or you have text in images, you can use your screen scraping to extract that text or that data. While data scraping works majorly for structured data or tables or data that is set in formats, if you understand what I'm saying. And the last one now is PDF extraction. Now, PDF extraction is simply extracting data from a PDF. And there's no further complexity to it. It's basically working with your PDF and extracting data from the PDF, extracting what data we'll need from our PDF, be it text, be it pages, be it numbers, be it data structured data or the likes. Okay, so these are the four like the core data extraction techniques in UiPath, but then there are also other techniques. But there are also other activities that help us or allow us to extract data from our UiPath, extract data with our UiPath Studio. And the activities also include the get ancestor. The get ancestor activity allows us to retrieve ancestor elements in a hierarchy of elements. So it's possible that I'm working with something where elements are nested into each other. So we can have a high level element. So sorry, I want to draw something on the screen. Let's turn on my annotations. Can you see my screen?
Yes, you can still see your screen.
Yes, you can see your screen.
Yeah, we can see, but it's blank.
It's blank?
Yeah, we can
Black.
see it here.
You can see,
No,
yes.
it's not.
Okay. So this get ancestor activity, it works when, I think as I said, it's possible you have elements that are organized in a hierarchy. So you can have a high level node. So you have this parent. And then it goes down, you have another one. And then it goes down and you have another one. So you can see how this is a hierarchy of.
So you are not seeing what you are drawing, you just see the red cursor.
That's
That's
what I'm
what I'm
saying.
doing.
We can see. It's black.
It's black. I don't think it should be black.
I can see what you are
I can
doing.
see it at my own end. I can see what you are doing.
Okay.
It's showing
It's only
something different
PDF.
now.
It's only PDF for this thing I'm seeing, so I don't see.
I think most of us can see. Right. Is that not to mute themselves, please? Collins again. So who cannot see the annotations and who cannot see the PDF at all?
So I can't see the
I
PDF.
can
So
only
it's-
see the
I can't see the
PDF
PDF. Oh.
and
Your screen is black.
that's
The
what I
only-
mean. It's black.
And
What I
they
can
showing
see
that
on your
it's
screen, sir,
red.
is just the PDF. The PDF is
So what I
showing.
can see on your screen is error. Something went wrong. Report bug. Cancel.
I can
I
see
can see
PDF
Cancel
plugins
the
and I can see annotations.
So some of
Okay,
us
now.
can see, some could not see. I don't know. I don't know why that.
Yes, I can see now. I can see now. Yeah.
I can see the PDF now, sir.
Yeah, that's great. And if you still can't see, I think you might having against network issues or something.
The annotation is showing again.
I can't see again. Oh.
You can't see anything.
Okay.
It's black.
We can see now. I can see now. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yes, we can all see now, right?
No, sir.
Mr. Timileyin, why is annotation
Sir,
showing?
a banner tagged annotations is covering
Why
it.
is annotation showing?
You can
I think
cancel
it's
it.
a problem
Yeah,
with
sorry.
the network. If you don't have fast network, it usually happens. So maybe try changing your location and then it will exit and add again.
Just cancel it. It has been cancelled. I can see now.
Okay, so great. We can all see. For those that can't see, I think I would suggest leaving out, changing your network, or try
I
exiting.
was seeing you just before now.
But now you can't see it again.
Sorry, what are you currently presenting? So we know what we're.
I'm presenting the PDF, so I think you can see. You can see the PDF.
I can see the PDF.
Yes, I can see the PDF.
That is set on get ancestor.
I cannot
Yes.
see the PDF. I can only see the UiPath stuff in front of yours.
What?
What I'm seeing in my own screen is the UiPath stuff. Yeah.
UiPath stuff.
Then another configuration, something like that. I don't know. I don't know what is going on.
There's no UiPath stuff. I don't know where you can be seeing that from. I mean, like UiPath Studio.
I can see, sir.
Okay, great. So I think for those who still can't see, try leaving and joining again. So that might fix your problem. Now, talking about get ancestor. So I was saying that's possible we might have some. It may have some activities that are nested into each other or that are in a hierarchy. So let's take, for example, these are our UI elements. Then we have each one pointing down to the next one. Now, the get ancestor activity allows us to, from a child activity, from a child element, take this one for example.
Are you on your UiPath Studio right now?
No, I'm not.
You're on the PDF.
Yeah, I'm on the PDF.
Sir, we can't see you. We can't see it, sir.
They don't say we can't see you. Most people can see. So why are you talking for everyone?
Sorry, sir.
Me, I can see.
I can't see, sir. I can only see something like the annotation on screen, sir, popping up an error.
Double touch. You can double click.
You can cancel it. Cancel it by yourself. There. Just yeah.
Okay, sir.
Press on cancel. Yeah.
I guess you all have to imagine what I'm saying, because if they can opening annotations causing a whole lot of problems. So let me just stop annotations and then we'll walk That's how I was saying the get ancestor activity allows us to extract or detect parent UI elements when we have elements that are structured in a hierarchy or in a parent-child structure. So take, for example, we have a text document that might have a notepad. Have a notepad as its parent, and then the text part, now that is the part where we would enter, will be the child. So now the get ancestor activity allows us to is my screen showing?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The get ancestor activity allows us to
Yes, sir.
extract. Yes, thank you, everyone. Allows us to extract or to retrieve the parent element, that is the higher level element, from the child element, from the lower level element. So I don't know if we cannot imagine that, or imagine how that would.
I went to that and forgot to bring extension again.
Now imagine how that would be. Now we also have a getter attribute. Now getter attribute, as the name implies, allows us to get some attributes from our UI elements. So UI elements tend to have lots of attributes like color, name, position, states, other things. I mean, if other things that qualify or that describe it. Now, this get attribute allows us to retrieve a specific attribute from a UI element. So we might take, for example, decide to extract the color of this text. Now, to do that, you have to use get attribute activity, and then we would extract the attribute named color or whatever attribute is corresponding to the color of the text. I will do that with this activity. Now, the get position activity allows us to get the position of an element on screen. So let's say an element is placed in a certain place. We want to check, we want to confirm the specific position of that element. You would have to use this get position activity to retrieve that element or to retrieve the UI element that is placed in that specific position. And it is useful when we have many similar elements on the screen and we don't know the specific position, you don't know their actual positions. And we would like to work with, or we would like to identify each specific one. So we can use this one now to tell us what element is in what position, and we will know the exact one we are working with, or we know the exact elements we are working with. Moving on. So we'll be talking, now that we've looked at the core activities or the basic activities that UiPath provides, and you look at the techniques generally. We'll be looking at the techniques in more detail as we move on. We'll be looking at the screen scraping, data scraping, and last one I think was PDF extraction. We'll be looking at those three as we go on. Now, firstly, let's look at screen scraping. I think if you remember what I said in the beginning, screen scraping is basically allowing us to extract data that we have on the screen at any moment in time. Okay. And screen scraping UiPath has three methods, or has three techniques that we can use to perform each of these screen scraping. The methods include full text, native, and OCR. So each of these has its own advantages. So you can see the screen. You see that full text is the fastest, while OCR is the slowest. Then full text is also the most accurate. Then some support background, some do not support background, some extract text position, some extract hidden text, and then OCR supports Citrix, while the other two don't. Okay, so let's look at screen scraping. Let's perform a screen scraping activity in our studio. Now, UiPath Studio has a screen scraping wizard that makes the screen scraping process very easy to perform. And the screen scraping wizard just allows us to basically click the elements you want to, or indicate the elements you want to extract from. And then the computer will automatically pick the best method it feels. Method that it feels would work for the elements based on the code that the builders of the UiPath Studio now have implemented. So I guess it has some algorithms that to run through to check what method would work best with each UI element. So once my studio loads, we will look at the screen scraping wizard and we would just run some simple tasks. So in the meantime, you guys should also be opening your UiPath Studio for those whose laptops are with them, whose laptops have power. Screen scraping wizard. Okay. Okay, so now I guess we can see my UiPath Studio, right? Now on the design ribbon, you see now we have the things like new, exports, debug. Now you should see some things like screen scraping, data scraping, and user events. Now this screen scraping here is our screen scraping wizard. Clicking on that would now take us to our screen. So now we can, I think if you remember this, this event last time we're working with our get text and we're trying to indicate on screen. So it's the same concept, the same methodology. Making on the user to tell you allow us to indicate what elements we want to scrape our data from. So in this case, let's say we want to scrape from our browser. We click on Chrome. And after doing that, UiPath would try to find what method will work best among the three we saw. We talked about earlier, that is the native OCR and full text. And once it has deciphered, once it has determined the one that would work the best, it would show the outcome. That is, it will show whatever we have scraped.
Please do it again, sir.
Okay. My laptop. Okay, my UiPath is not responding. Okay, it's done. Sorry, it was taking time because it's used. Remember, I said, okay, can you see my screen first of all?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's like my laptop, it took some time because it was using, you can see in the right part, it says scraping method, OCR. And OCR. And remember, I said OCR is the slowest scraping method. You can see that it's taking so much time just to extract this 4 or these 5 lines of text. And even at that, it's not accurate.
Can you do this again so that we
I'm going to do that, but I'm trying to explain something before we do it again.
Okay.
So you can see that it's it has errors in it now. You see this UiPath. This. So you can see that OCR is, very slow and not accurate. So for those who are not able to follow the first time, please pay attention to the screen and we would go again. So now on your main workflow, on the design ribbon, you should see screen scraping button on the ribbon beside data scraping and recording. So clicking on that now would take us to, it will take us to allow us to indicate what we want to scrape from. So in this case, you are scraping from our PDF, this PDF here. So now you can then indicate that element on your screen. And the new UiPath would, if you all get that, please.
This indicates, do you click? Because I cannot move my cursor around. I can't do that. But like, if I want to like indicate from the beginning of what sentence to the end of what sentence,
No,
do
you
I
can't.
click? Do I like
No.
highlight it?
You can only click the elements you want to scrape from. So now you can't decide to select from one line to another line at this point in time. So you just have to scrape everything. Then you can perform some data manipulation later on when you have extracted the data to extract the ones you want. I don't know if you're getting me. You're getting me, Rafael.
Yes, I'm getting you.
So you can highlight, just select the element that contains the data or the information you want to scrape. Then UiPath will.
Sorry, I can't find that on my studio.
Yeah, Mr. Timilane, I can't find that on my own. What I'm seeing on my system is computer vision and user
can't find
events. I
screen
can't the place for screen scraping.
Me too.
I did not get that. Who was talking? I did not hear what you were saying clearly.
I said I can't find screen scraping in my studio.
Are you on Classic?
I don't think they are on Classic. They are most likely on Modern.
They are on Modern, most likely.
Yes, they are Modern. So I don't know why it did not. I think beginning of class I say it again that we should turn off Modern, but then for those who
because I can't find it on my own too. So I just kept mute. I've switched between Classic and I've changed.
Okay. Okay, so for anyone who
Excuse me,
can't,
Miss. Okay,
for
please go
everyone,
ahead. I'll ask.
for anyone who can't, what's it called? Who can't see or who can't get, who doesn't have this set of activities, this set of things on their
So I don't have that screen scraping.
So you would have to use computer vision. So for those who don't have screen scraping, data scraping, you would use computer vision, and you should do the same, or you should follow the same steps. Click on that and you be able to select where you're copying from. And I guess your part will then, yes.
I just clicked on the computer vision and it says server. It brought up an error that says server API key missing or invalid. So from what I'm getting here, it's meaning that we have to copy the license from a particular website and then from the website and then add it to our computer. So I just wanted to be sure if we have to go through that step.
A license. What license are you talking about? Do you mean does it ask for a
There it
license?
says server API key missing or invalid, and then on the next line, please copy it from the licenses page on cloud.uipath.com and add it to your computer vision section in project settings.
Okay. Okay. So who among us or is having who has that computer vision thing and is on their laptop? So let's see how you're working with.
So I had the same issue with him, sir.
Okay, so let's see your screen and let's see let's see.
I have the same.
Let's see, and then everyone, let's know what to do from that point.
I think you guys should close your meeting of that model. Get it to classic. I had the same issue and I can see screen.
Pick me, you were saying something.
I said I think they should exit their studio, open it again, then change that setting to modern whatever.
I
Yeah,
mean,
well, this
When you
most people are saying that they are on classic and they are still. So let's see what's happening. Let's see if that's what the issue is. I think Kieran said he has changed to classic and he still did not see the screen scraping wizard. So thank you, Pick Me, for that suggestion. And so those people who can't see the screen scraping.
Let me just exit my studio and come back because some software need you to restart. So let me just restart and see if it goes away.
Okay then. Okay, so who else? Anyone else that's having that issue should first turn off the modern activities, then what's it called?
Okay, sir. Okay, so I'm about to do that.
And yeah, open it again. Let's see what happens from there. Otherwise, you will just try to. You look at the modern alternative.
I have turned off the modern activity and I have it now.
Okay, so now I guess you all see. Thank you for that, Daniel. So everyone should do that, and hopefully everyone will now be on the same page and be able to proceed the class. Okay, Rasta says she did screen scraping, and no matter how much you cover, this is the only thing you get.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
So I've turned off the modem, shut down the my this thing and restarted. It's still showing me the computer system.
Okay. This is precious, right? Was that precious?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, precious.
So precious, do you mind sharing your screen?
Okay, yeah, sure, I will. Confirm me if you can see my screen.
Yeah, it's coming up. Okay, I can see your screen now.
Okay, so I want to see the settings. I've turned it off. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see your. Let's check the settings. Let's see the.
I'm currently on setting.
Okay.
It's fine, right?
Okay, that's fine. No. And you've closed and you opened again. You opened a new, what's it called? Open the new project now. Because remember, that's the old one is already open the modern. The other one
Okay,
does is
I just create a new process.
Yes.
Okay, screen. Scraping. Okay, I'm creating. Yeah.
Okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. I was saying we could have actually just changed it from the settings in the project itself. So you
Okay,
don't have
can
to
I
create
do it?
cancel. Don't create a new one. Don't cancel it. Create. Open the previous one. Let's.
Okay.
That will be choose that one.
Okay. I've opened it.
Okay, so go to projects. Now on where you have the activities panel, where you see project activities and snippets. Everyone should watch along for those who are still having issues.
Project.
Click on project.
Yeah.
Then click on settings. So you see that thing that's like here. Click on settings.
Yeah.
No. The icon on the top that looks like a gear. You see folder, you see plus, minus, and the thing that's like refresh.
Settings. Yeah.
Click on that.
Okay. Modern design off, right?
Yes, turn off modern design.
Okay. Reload. Oh yeah, it's back. It's perfect. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Atimi. Please, seeing that many of us just got the screen scraping, can you please just go over it again? Just once, please.
Okay. Okay, then. So I hope everyone now that could not get the screen scraping before has followed those steps and now they can go. So now let's look at that screen scraping wizard again.
I couldn't because, sorry, sir, I couldn't. My system was still loading while you were doing that.
You could not change your project setting. So go to project, decide activities, settings, and switch off modern design experience. Ebenezer.
Set project inside activities.
Inside activities. So on the activities panel at the bottom, you see project activities and what's the last thing there? And snippets. Click on project. Let me just share my screen so I guess everybody will see it again for the last time. Please, if you don't get it now, I think you would just have to, I don't know, just have to continue like that because yeah, wasting too much time on that. So on your studio, Ebenezer and every other person, you see project.
Yes, I'm on my studio.
Now click on project. And then at the top of the project, what's it called? The project bar or the project panel. You should see these settings. You see expand, minimize, collapse, refresh, and then settings. Here. Click on settings. And then switch off design experience. That's the last thing here. Set it to no. And that would turn off your modern experience and you'll be able to see the exact activities we are seeing here. Ebenezer, are you clear on that?
Not really, sir.
You did not follow what I was saying. Or
my network was kind of hanging.
Well, think as I said, I'm spending too much time on this. So project settings and turn it off. Just 3 steps. Now for the screen shaping again, so let's do it one more time. We can all see our screen shaping wizard here. Then
Thank you,
click
Mr.
on
Timmy.
that.
We can see well. I can see now, yeah.
So now we would look at the text you want to scrape. I think let me use text that is. And this is a lot of text. So let's scrape from this now. I want to scrape from everything on this screen. And now I clicked on this. So UiPath will determine what scraping method to use. And then it will give us an output of everything you copied based on the text, based on what it used. So you can see that it used full text. And full text was resolved in 0.1 seconds or 127 milliseconds. And you can choose to try other methods. So you can try with native and then refresh. Let's see what happens and how long that would take. Okay, so I think we are done with native also. So native doesn't get anything. And it's, lasted 36 milliseconds, which is shorter, but then the, let's say, accuracy or the extraction process is sacrificed for the increase in time because you can't get anything. Then for OCR, if let's use OCR, let's see how long that would take and let's see how accurate OCR would be. So OCR is also done. The OCR took 10,157 milliseconds. That was way higher than the 157 that 127 that I think full text did. And then it didn't even scrape everything. And on once the script, we can still see some errors. So like here, we see that doing VN variables. So from all these things, we can infer that the OCR is the slowest. And then it's also the least accurate, all things being equal. So when we have a method or an element that all 3 of these methods can work for, UCR would be should be the last thing you would consider because it takes the most time and then it produces the least accurate information, while get full text produces the most accurate information and then uses much lower amount of time. Now, after we have scripts.
Before we continue, my OCR engine is Tesseract OCR. There's no Microsoft OCR. The other one I have there is UiPath Screen OCR. And for the languages, I just have English as ENG. And I cannot edit it because there are no other options.
Yeah, so because I've been using my studio for a longer time, I added the Microsoft OCR to mine. I think the default one is Google. The default OCR should be Tesseract OCR for most people.
Okay. There's an option to invert. What's that? Invert. Although on my screen, on top of get words info.
Okay, I don't see it. But I guess invert is so invert. Remember, OCR works. OCR was developed mainly for pictures because we can't use full text and native text to extract image data from pictures. That's when we use OCR. And I guess we might want to invert a picture, that is, switch or rotate it before scraping data. So that is what I think that's what
I don't need to click the option, right?
You don't need to click the option in this case. Only when you're working with a picture that is inverted, I want to turn it to the normal, normal orientation. You have to invert it or whatever the case may be. So now let's get our text from this. Then we can finish. That will just tell us. So the wizard just give us the text. Now we can decide to use it in any way we want to. We can decide to copy it and paste it somewhere else. Or once we finish, I mean, it now created the activities for us. So it has shown us it created the process that would extract data now. And in case we want to use it for other things in our process, we can now put a variable here to store our data. You see me, we use the get text activity in the other class. Okay, so so we looked at the three methods for the scripting activity or the screen scraping activity. Yep.
Starting me. So I can't see use any of these any of these screen scraping activities. I can't. Like, I understand how to go about it, but each time I use it, it doesn't give me the kind of results you get. I don't get them. For instance, the way you were able to like scrape more than like 3 paragraphs, I can't. It does not display, the result is not like that on my own.
So
Is there no
I'm not sure I know why that is happening, but then could it be I don't mean nothing comes to mind as to why that is happening. I guess maybe it could be the environment, that is maybe the browser I'm using, or what you're scraping from. So are you scraping from this same PDF also?
Yes.
I'm not sure why that could be happening. That could be happening. I'm not sure.
And also when you go to screen, are you supposed to like press something so to give you the option if it is an OCR you want or the other types of?
You don't. Your iPad determines the one that would work best. Then you can change if you don't like what it gives you. So you don't select what you want to do.
Again, or it will just automatically convert it.
What?
I said, so after you change, for instance, I'm changing from full text to say native. Will it automatically? I should click.
You have to refresh to see what will happen when you use to see what you would scrape when you use those different methods, and then you get the output in your
environment.
Well, I don't know why that happened, but then I think you should try after the class or during your break or some other time when you're free. Try it in different contexts. So try scraping from a Microsoft Word document and see what happens there. You know where it works and why it's not working. Or you can have an idea of why it's not working. Maybe it doesn't work with certain applications on your laptop. So we looked at the three scraping methods. We looked at the full text method. This is the default method, and it's the fastest with 100% accuracy. And it can work in background. It can extract hidden text. That is, for example, it can fetch options that are available in a drop-down list. So we can't say drop-down lists at normally unless we click on it. But there is full text. We can extract data that is hidden in that drop-down list. It doesn't support Citrix environment, and it doesn't capture text position and formatting. It doesn't tell us how the text is formatted. It doesn't tell us what point on the screen the text is located. Now, for native method, this method is compatible with applications that use the graphics design interface. Microsoft API responsible for representing the graphical objects. I think as we saw, we did not really see that because our native did not work. but the speed is lower than the full text, and then it can't work in the background. So it has to be in the foreground, or else you will run into some errors. However, it has some advantages over the full text in that it can extract the text position with 100% accuracy. Then it can also extract the text formatting. So let's say you use a different font or use a different design or change the color of your text. The native method would tell or will be able to differentiate between different types or different colors of text or different fonts in any case. And just like the full text, it doesn't support Citrix environment. Now the last method is the OCR method. And this method relies on recognizing each character. So it works the same way our eyes work, but then it can call it a computer set of eyes. So it just scripts what you can see on the screen at that point in time. Even if it's seeing something wrong, it just scripts it out, and that you can see how that would impair or affect the accuracy of the outputs. Also, the OCR method is one of the slowest, it is the slowest method in data extraction, and it can capture text position just like the native method. Now, the OCR method is the only one that works with Citrix environment. So if by chance you are working on an app that is built in Citrix, or you are working on a process that would work in Citrix, now you would have to use your OCR method to be able to script data from the screen for any process you would want to use. Okay, the full text. Now we looked at the full text, we looked at the output method. Let's look at the properties of the full text method. Now, the full text method, it has some properties or some property fields that we would or we can use to will I say fine tune or to narrow down or limit the amount of text we want to extract from a hidden or from a document. The only property it has is the ignore hidden. So this now, as the name might imply, allows us to ignore hidden text from what we are copying. So remember, like the example we gave before was that full text can extract things from a drop-down menu, even though we can't see it. Now we can choose to ignore those texts, or we might choose to copy it if we want to use it for any reason. Likewise, the native method also has its own properties or methods which it offers. And the methods include no formatting. So this allows us to say if we want to copy or we want to use the exact font and color that we are copying from, or if you just want to use the default and extract only the text. And then you can also choose to get the words info. Now, this option allows us to extract each word position, and we can support several separators. That we can support several characters which are used to separate let's say separate items. Okay. Right. By default, you can process all known characters, known as separators like commas, space. But when specific separators that are specified, it ignores the others. So, let's say we are copying something that is littered with, or some items that are littered with spaces, commas, and other separator signs, which may also double as punctuations. Now, this native position allows us to specify that we only want to acknowledge certain characters as separators, and ignore the rest, so that our outputs would be customize based on the item or the characters you want to recognize. Now the last one, which is the OCR. The OCR. Okay, first of all, we have 3 OCR engines. Okay, we have more, but then there are 3 default OCR engines. That we have the Google Tesseract, Microsoft, and then UiPath OCR. So as I think that was Rafiat who was saying she did not have one of these 3. You can add other OCR engines to your UiPath screen scraper wizard. Now each of them has its own properties, or it has its own methods that it can employ. So from the screen, you can see that the Tesseract prefers working with small areas. Microsoft prefers working with large areas, while UiPath screen does not specify. Google Tesseract allows for color. It allows us to while Microsoft does not allow that. UiPath does not indicate. Google allows us to filter allowed characters. Other ones don't, or we can't see. While the Microsoft can allow us, or Microsoft's OCR works best with Microsoft fonts. So the basic fonts you have in a Microsoft operating system, if you want to extract those fonts or want to work with items that are formatted in those fonts, it will be advisable to use the Microsoft Modi OCR engine. The OCR works or is built for cases when the full text and native methods don't work. So in cases like a strict environment or images, reading text from images, the OCR is what would allow us to perform data extraction in those environments or in those contexts. And because it works with optical resolution, that is what you can see, or what the computer can see at that point in time. It has a slower execution time and lower accuracy. Okay, so now that we've looked at the 3 basic OCR, 3 basic scraping methods, scraping method, the full text, Microsoft OCR and UiPath Studio, UiPath Screen OCR, we would perform this next exercise we have on the screen or in the PDF now. Now, our exercise is to demonstrate how to scrape data from a UiPath blog post using the screenkeeper wizard, and then store this data in a notepad file. The basic steps are: number 1, open a blog post on UiPath website. Use the screenkeeper wizard to scrape text. To switch between native full text and OCR scraping methods to view result quantities in the script result preview window. Then store the script text in a notepad file using the full text scraping method. Now save and close the file. I think the steps are very straightforward. The first thing you have to do now. Okay, so let's all get to building. So the first thing you have to do is open the blog post on your UiPath website. So we can go to the UiPath website. UiPath website. Blog. This is the UiPath blog now. Let's open an article that we want to copy from. Let's pick this one. Then our next step is to go to our UiPath Studio and then click on the screen scraping button from the design ribbon. Then indicates the text we want to copy from the blog article, from the blog page. So once our blog page has loaded, let's decide to scrape everything we can see on our screen here. Or we might choose to scrape some parts of the text. So now let me use my screen with, let me first clear everything we have. Now use our screen scraping wizard here, and then select, let's select just the first, no, let's select everything here. Let's not select the first paragraph only. Let's select everything from 1, 2, 3, 4, or 3.5 paragraphs. And then see what our wizard brings for us. Now using full text, you see that it scrapes everything, it scrapes all the data. Scrapes data in a single line, doesn't extract the position, doesn't tell us how it's arranged now. So it just gets everything in a single string, a single line of text. While for using something like native now in this case, if I refresh, native does not work with this. Okay. While for the OCR, use this. We'll try all 3 OCR engines and see which one provides the best outcome. So for Microsoft OCR, we can see that it scripts some things, type it to search. The business is, well, yeah, all these things. And you can see some errors. You can see this. You can see that some words are not spelled correctly. And then overall, it did a good job. And it took 16,000 milliseconds. Let's see what the OCR will take, or let's see how long it will take. The language is scale 1, but that one will also take its own amount of time. So let's wait for. I hope you're all following, you're all building along.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
We are
sir.
following, sir.
Did you
Sorry?
scroll
Yes, sir.
down so it would capture everything?
No, I didn't scroll down. I was just looking. I was just looking at the screen. But then remember, we selected a certain part. So even if we scroll, it won't affect what we have chosen already. Once we have picked the element to scrape from. Now for this OCR engine, now you can see that I think there are a lot more mistakes. See this line here filled with things that we don't want. Then the words are generally correct, but then it can't limit what is copying, so you can't limit it to only the text we want. And then there's an error here, an extra F, like that. And the last OCR engine will be the UiPath screen OCR. And before we go, we see that this one takes much longer. So while the former engine took 16 seconds or 16,000 milliseconds, this is taking 20 seconds. Let's see what UiPath OCR engine has for us. Okay, wait a second. Done. It's not done still. So that OCR method did not work for whatever reason. I don't know. I can't say for sure why it did not work, but then just not, it did not work. So we will stick to what works and what works best. I think that was the full text in terms of extracting the actual data. So let's refresh that one more time, and then you can see you have all the text you want, even though it's in a single line. And yes, in a single line, you can see that it takes just it's 9 milliseconds. Now we finish, and then our wizard creates the necessary activities. We use an attached browser and the get full text activity. Then the next step in the activity is to OCR text. Drop a write text file activity below. So we are using full text, I guess. Now the next step is to drop a write text file activity. So we use from here, we write text file, and then a file name. So you create a file, you create a name you want to give the file. You can name it full text output. And then for what text you want to write into it, you just get a variable. So our variable in this case is div. UiPath created a variable for us. So we just put in div. And we should be able to run our sequence from here. Now let's see what happens. Goes, scrapes the data, and then creates a text file. So now I think now we are done. Let's see where the text file is created. So the text file is created here now. It's created in the same project folder. Go to access it. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so if you see on the project panel now, we can see our output file here, the full text output. So now we can open it and see exactly what is in. Now you can see that it's the exact same thing we copied, or the exact same thing that was in the blog file, save for some errors in spacing, which I think will indicate why we're having paragraphs, I guess. Yep, so where we're having paragraphs. Now you can see, now I think we've been able to see how this full text activity, or how the screen scraping wizard works, and you've been able to perform some basic screen scraping, basic data extraction from a UI element, which in this case was our blog. Is there any questions? Is there anyone that still doesn't ask or that had any issue with using this automation? Thomas, taking me. Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes. So I was asking if there's anyone that encountered any problem now, or encountered any issue while we were building this automation, this screen scraping activity that we just implemented. Were you able to follow to the end, or did you get stuck at some point?
So I got stuck. It asked me to install my studio Chrome extension, browser extension.
I can't hear you.
It asked me to install extension before I continue, and I didn't know how to get from there.
If I'm hearing you correctly, you said it wants you to install a Chrome extension.
Browser UI Studio browser extension.
UI Studio browser extension for Chrome. Okay. So did you remember when you were installing your studio, there was an option for what's it called, for adding Chrome. Did you click that? Or do you remember what happened when you were installing your Chrome? And is anyone else having that same issue?
Sorry, sir, can you take that again?
I was saying that when you were installing your UiPath Studio, I think there was an option for adding Chrome. Did you click that?
I don't remember seeing anything.
Okay, so you should be able to check. Check for this. Do I check this? I check this. Do I check this? Or so I'm not sure. I can't remember how to check this exactly. I think that would be something you would now have to do from Chrome extensions. Do I get extensions? So on your Chrome browser, are you with me? Wait with me.
Yes, sir.
Chrome browser, you can manage extensions and then search for UiPath Web Automation. Okay? And then add it to your Chrome extensions. I think that should solve your problem. So for sorry?
Sorry, I have seen UiPath Web Automation on my Chrome extension.
I can't hear you.
I have seen UiPath Web Automation on my Chrome extension.
Okay, so add it to your Chrome extensions. So I said that should fix any issue you have or you had. Now, Following Taiwo also has his hands up.
Yes, sir. I got stuck editing the text, sir.
Editing the text.
Yeah, the screen scraper wizard. I can't move anywhere, sir.
But we didn't edit any text. I don't get what you mean by editing the
So I
text.
copied the text to the screen. I scraped the this thing from the Google Chrome, sir. Only to have it on my screen scraper. It's not moving.
What do you mean it's not moving? What is not moving?
I was trying to create this sequence you created for putting the text into, sir.
Okay. So where did you stop? You opened
Yeah,
your
it's
screen wizard.
Sir?
You opened your screen scraping wizard. You clicked on what you want to copy. And then
exactly.
And then what
so
next?
So from there, I can't move, sir.
So I think it's still loading, so it's taking time. Because remember, it might take. I think we saw at some point my mind took 20 seconds to run because we're using an OCR engine. So it might take some time, but then it should work eventually. If it doesn't work, close it and close the what's it called? The wizard and open it again. It doesn't work after give or take 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's been like maybe 5 minutes, sir. I was trying to follow you when you. I was following you when you were doing yours, sir.
I think that might be something with or maybe your system or something, but it should not take this
Okay,
long.
sir.
So try close and open, close your studio and open it again, and let's see what
Okay,
happens.
sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
So please, the right test file. So as in the pass the value there, so I'm finding it difficult. I've put the folder name, then it's still telling me that the value has not been passed.
Yeah, so from the get text activity, you are passing output into a variable, or you are passing a variable into the text. Remember what we did yesterday when we used our get text. So we can store our output in a variable. That's what we did here. And then we put the variable into the input.
Okay, you declare the variable there.
Yes, George. That's what we did too. I mean, we didn't do is UiPath did that automatically for us. So what it was just basically copy the variable and put it there. So if per chance yours did not create the variable, I think you can just we all know how to make variables now. Control K or right click. So you do that and create a variable for your output. Then pass that variable into your text file.
Okay.
All right. Oluwasegun Pokola. Oluwasegun Pokola.
Yes, sir, with you, sir. Okay, so
Yes, I can see your hand up.
Yeah, I tried repeating the process right now, and I'm having file not saved, all file not saved error. Although I'm trying to do it all over again to see. Yes.
What is giving me the error? Is it the right text file or the what's it called?
You said what?
Or where's the error coming from? Like what activity is giving you the error?
After I try to save a bit to run the process, to run the file.
Did you save the workflow? But that should not matter actually. It should save by itself. So try running it again. Try creating a different sequence. I don't know why.
Okay.
Maybe you change you alter something. Yeah, maybe you alter something. So try running it again and let's see what happens now. Okay. Then if it doesn't work, let's know again, or let me know again rather. Then
actually this
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I loaded my UiPath Studio, sir. Sir, I just wanted to ask if the compatibility should be Windows Legacy or ordinary Windows, sir.
Windows. So I think we said it in the beginning. We said it so many times that we are only using Windows. Windows Legacy is for people that are on 32-bit system.
Okay,
so
sir.
unless you're using 32-bit system, to be on Windows or Windows.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, please, your right test file has an output, but mine doesn't have an output. It's only input it has under the property.
This is for my get full text, not my right text file.
Okay, it's on the get full text.
Yes.
Okay.
So I guess let's go on our break from here. And anyone that's still having issues can use this break to sort out your issues and so on before you move on to the next topic or the next concept. for this lesson, which would be, I think, data extraction, data scraping. Yep, data scraping. So we will do that after. Okay, George, have you now fixed?
Yes,
that?
sir. Yes, sir. He created the values, but used a different name. He used a grouping. So I just passed the grouping, the one he created.
Okay, so great. Fine. So yes, you can use this thing now for other activities. I think I remember at the beginning of the class, or I started classes last week, we were saying we could scrape, can extract something from an invoice. So I guess we can see, or we can imagine how we would use screen scraping now to go to our PDF and select the best, or go to our invoice, so not our PDF, go to our invoice and select the best method to use, be it native or full text or OCR. And then we would know what you should expect from performing that process, and then how to work on the output we have gotten from the process. Okay. Let me judge. Yes. Your hand.
Yeah,
So I'm trying to sorry, sir, I'm trying to view your result. Did you use Notepad to view it or Microsoft Word?
Let me judge.
Yes, sir. Please. I just wanted to demonstrate again how you get that UI extension, Abby, automation extension. So, please, I was carried away when you were showing the lady there. Please, can you just show me again?
I think you already have. You don't have that issue, sir.
Sir?
I said, are you also having that same issue?
Yes, I'm having that.
Okay.
So that I can't. I have to install the UiPath extension.
So go to your Chrome browser and go to your extensions.
Please, I just
need to add
one more demonstration.
Then to go to your Chrome browser and go to the extensions store, or the extensions.
Please, can you show me that? Okay, Chrome browser. Okay.
And then you can now choose to add or search for extensions that you want to add.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. Emmanuel Fadi.
Good evening, Sati.
Good evening, Emmanuel.
Mr. Timilei.
Good evening, Emmanuel.
Okay, good evening. Well, actually, mine is not really a question because, sincerely speaking, I'm not even part of this class. And I know that there are some people that are also here that everything we have been doing since morning, we don't understand. Majorly me, because I won't lie to myself. From like the class that we had on Monday, I've been actually having issues with the class. I barely have time to even go through the replay and all this stuff. So I don't know. Many of these people that are giving you feedbacks, it will seem as if everyone is getting, but it will be better if you try to get to know from others that, okay, who are those that are not getting it and those that are getting it, because even the assignment that you gave us concerning the parallel, whatever, I'm still on it and I'm here to get it. And now I'm seeing data scraping, screen scraping, and one thing that I don't even understand. So I'm just trying to give out my
What I would
message
say
because
what I'll to that is, I think in the in in the webinar you all attended prior to the classes, I think we stated that this or the classes are going to run for a period of 5 weeks per section. And then based on that timeline, we have set out a certain set of like call it set of a scheme basically a scheme of work that are going to follow based on that or based on those time guidelines. Now I get that for some people, most people don't learn at the same pace. Some people are what you would call slow learners, or people people that would need extra time to grasp something. Some people are very fast learners, very quick learners. Now, I think we try to make that easier for people.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Are you with me?
I'm listening.
Okay. Actually, not everyone will be a slow learner. There are some of these people that are giving you feedbacks that might have gone through this class before. And those of us that are just doing it for the first time, it will be quite difficult to quickly comprehend whatever you are explaining.
As I think I said, and I didn't say we are all.
I can't say I am a slow learner.
Yes, I didn't say we are. I said, but most people learn in different ways.
Not everyone that is lagging behind.
Okay. Most people learn in different ways. Some people might learn point off the spin by just, watching me do something, or watching someone do something. They can learn from that. Some people need, extra details. But my point is that because of the nature of the training and the fact that it's going to be lasting for only 5 weeks per section, that is why we have to move at this fast pace, or else we won't cover all the content in that allotted time. And we've made resources available. We put the class recordings on LMS and YouTube for people who, like you said, could not grab in class to watch again at their own free time or when they have time, and then grasp the concept that were taught in the class. So for anyone could not, or that still not, grabbing at this point, it's fine to ask questions, and we'll try to, answer questions as much as I can during the class. But then,
if I start asking my question, what I'm saying, the question is not from the
but have you watched the videos that were put on the LMS?
Which will be dragging this past?
Have you watched the videos that were put on the LMS?
You said?
Have you watched the recordings of the class?
Yes, that's what I'm working on presently. And in fact, the parallel activity assignment that you gave us, I'm yet to get it even with the video.
And then also, have you done your personal research also into all these things? Because you can't expect a teacher to solve everything for you.
You said?
Have you also done your personal research? Because you can't expect your teacher to do everything or to find all the details for you. And then there are some things now, for example, there's some people, I think George was saying that there are some things that we were trying to do that we didn't cover in class, like something with an array. So he went to do his own research to look at how to do array, how to work with arrays. So most of these things, if you see from my own point of view.
Yeah, going at it.
Who is talking? And there is.
I'm the one still talking.
Okay.
I'm listening. So I'm saying that many people are lagging behind. Okay. And if it gets to the point where the time whereby, because according to the webinar, they said there will be a time frame for the exam. One, we have to actually cover up for those lapses before you can even actually go for the exam. So by that time, you might not even be able to meet up with the exam period. So there are many people, I know there are many students that are giving you feedback and based on the scheme or the schedule of the lecture, you have to meet up. But you still have to consider the fact that there are some those that are beginners among them who might not necessarily actually get this thing at first.
Well, if you don't get at first, you watch your recordings, watch your videos, and I think that's all I can say about that. The class pace that's maybe the pace is meant to be for the time frame. If you don't get the things you don't get the concept in class, you can ask questions in class, and then after the class, if you, as you said, some things that have passed are far behind, you watch the videos and ask your classmates, ask your classmates who are also doing the course to understand, or ask. I mean, at some point, you have my email. You can send me email, and I'll try to look against the best of my knowledge. But then, for the class pacing, I don't think it's going to change. It's going to change at all. They're going to be moving at the same pace from now. So we have to work with that also.
All right. Thank you.
Okay then. Shagun, Kupola, Loa Shagun.
Thank you, Mr. Timlane. Please, it's like my work does not save automatically. I think that's the challenge because it's still giving me the same error.
It is giving you the same file is not saved.
Yes, that's how most of my work I've been doing actually. So I just used to close and then say when I want to reopen the stuff, it will ask me to save previous ones and then it will disappear again.
Can you say that again?
I said that's how most of my work have been. Does it save automatically? Maybe when I close it now, I want to reopen it tomorrow. Then it asks me to save. Once I save, it's going to disappear from the whole page. I will have to start again.
Once you select, once you press the save button now, you don't see your process again. Am I?
Yes.
Like you don't see it in your document, or you don't see it on the workflow. I mean, does it close automatically when you save off?
I didn't get that.
You said you click on save now, right? Now after doing that, what happens next?
I wish I can show you my screen. It doesn't show anything particular per se.
Okay, but so now for subsequent things, now you can't see those workflows you made before.
Yes.
So can you, try adjusting the location of the file you are saving?
Okay.
So that's put it in next time when you're opening a new file, or click on save as now, save as, and then store it in, let's say, your desktop, for example, somewhere you easily have access to. maybe that we are saving it is causing one or two things. So try saving in like your desktop or your documents, and then see if you find the file there in that case.
Okay, one before I begin the workflow at all.
Or like for this one now, you can under the save, you see save as, you can save as, and then select the location like desktop.
If I click save now and I say save as, it's going to bring a pop-up. If I change the name and I press save, it's going to okay.
It's going to.
I'm coming. It brings up error of file not found or something like that. No.
File not found. So
Yes.
try that. Try opening a new process and saving it in a place that you can easily access. Yeah. So while we do that, let's attend to other people too before the break is over. Thomas, speak with me again. And
okay.
And yes, so find out. Speak with me. Kieran.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good evening, sir, and good evening, everyone. I was hoping I could make a suggestion to the guy that previously talked about him not following up with the classes.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, you kind of say something of the nature of what I wanted to say, but I wanted to reiterate it. It also helps because I know this is like I'm studying computer engineering, but this is a whole new thing to me because we don't normally get this kind of lecture and tutorials in our educational system. So one of the things I did, I mean, I have not had problems so far though, but I would have last assignment, the one with the parallels, I was having conflicting processes in my mind to run. So, well, before that, I was able to make a friend with that one of my classmates taking this same course too. Like I met the person here on our Discord group. So I'm suggesting to the person that they've been in this platform, they've been with us throughout the classes from the beginning, and maybe he might have seen someone that seems to be getting the class easier. He could want to make a friend out of them, the person, whoever the person might be, and in their free time, he could run a schedule with them and they could help him pull through because some people learn in different ways, as you rightly said. So it could be that he needs someone that understands better to teach him in a language he could understand also. So if he's watching the webinars and they're not really helping, he could get someone close, not just chatting on Discord that I don't get this, maybe like a learning partner that could just help him along the way. So because it can only get tougher. This is basically the beginning. So that's it. So
Thank
that
you for
our
that.
part is I was doing the practice with the person. We were on call on Discord and we were just comparing what we are doing. So it could help that way.
Okay, thank you for that suggestion, Kieran. So that makes sense. So your friends, your classmates should be your best friends, quote unquote, in this case. They're like one of your important resources, apart from the videos or asking me. I might not have time. And then I'll try to answer as much as I can, but then your classmates would always be, definitely, you're going to do the same thing, so you'll be there for you. So for anyone who is still finding hard to understand, so there are avenues to combat that. Number one, you can send me emails. I will try to answer as much as I can. You can talk to your classmates, your fellow classmates, and look for someone you think understands it better than you, and then think you guys will be able to flow much better within yourself, and then you will be able to discuss things.
I'm not on Discord. How can I join the group there?
I think a mail should have been sent to everyone.
Yeah, I tried to use the message to enter. That was around 2 or 3 days ago, and it was like the link has expired. So
Okay, so have you sent me a mail before?
what did you say?
Okay, have you sent me a mail? You're sending me a mail, right? So send me a mail again to that.
I will send you a mail because my
website.
dashboard is not opening, so I'm gonna send you a mail.
And send the mail about the Discord too.
Okay, thank you.
So ask your friends, can talk on Discord, or you can even exchange numbers and talk more privately. And then the videos are there. There is also, UiPath Academy, so you can look to them for extra information on things that we did not quite get in the course of the classes. Honesty. Honesty.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Honesty.
My question is about this script scraping.
Okay,
we're working on.
Let's hear it.
I was trying to follow you, but my system was hanging. So when you open the blog post, the blog post,
okay, the blog post.
do you copy? How do you copy everything? Do you just click on a particular paragraph, or you have to copy or something? I've been trying to do that.
Okay, so I opened my screen scraping wizard and I selected the element I wanted to copy from. Then UiPath Studio did the rest. So I believe you can locate your screen scraping wizard.
You're supposed to copy the whole of the text on the page.
I can't hear that.
Is it supposed to copy the whole of the text?
Is
it supposed to copy the whole of the page?
That is up to you and what you want to copy. I chose to copy only the text, but you might choose to copy everything. So it depends on what you want to copy. So we can see now, we are, after clicking on it, now we are choosing where we want to copy from. I can copy the whole thing. I can copy just this part. Let me show you something more. So I can copy just this section. I copy just this. I can copy everything, as I said. So it's up to you on what you want to copy. But then once you have decided that to copy something, you have to click on that now to tell the studio to select that element. Once you click on that, it should be, it should get a pop-up or another window that will give you the output and how it looks like.
Okay, I've done that.
Copy just a line.
I didn't copy the whole of the page. That's what I'm asking.
Oh yeah, so I said it depends on you, so it's fine. As far as you know how to use it, and let's say you have future uses and you want to now do something different, that you know to select the whole thing. You want to copy the whole thing, like you want to select just one paragraph. But with that, and something else that that I think everyone should know, if you've not heard from now, is that so what you can copy now depends on the layout of the screen you're copying from or the app you're copying from. Now, if you are familiar with web pages, web pages have various elements. They have like divs, they have headers and this thing. So based on that, UiPath can, to an extent, identify what is a div now. So I think this should be a div and this is an anchor. So UiPath can identify those and you can copy those things, but then what you can copy now, in a nutshell, what you can copy depends on your platform you're copying from.
So for this, now you can only copy this whole paragraph. You can't copy a single line. While for some other web pages, you might be able to copy a single line. So that's just a side note. It does not impact anything we have done so far. But I feel like something we should know for when we want to build our own automations in practice or in future when we become fully fledged developers. So
Okay,
honestly,
after dropping the right text file and inputting the file name, you just run, right?
yes, I mean you write text file then inputting your input variable. So you just run
Okay,
your
variable.
activity. Yeah, so run your activity and you'll be fine.
The variable, what is it supposed to be? Okay, script scraping, generic value.
You look for a variable because UiPath will create a variable for you. So you look for it and put it there. Check your variables panel. You see some variables there.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm seeing some.
So you put that on the input. Let's continue. So I think we should all be back.
The generic value.
Yes, generic value that is there. So it's fine.
Okay.
So let's continue. Class, I think we have answered the question. They've answered Kieran, Honesty, Shagun, and Big May. So let's continue with where we stopped. So we've seen how to use this screen scraping wizard. I think now we'll be looking at data scraping. Now, data scraping is an extraction method or technology, or a technique that allows us to extract data now, but in this case from structured data, from data that is arranged in a pattern, and then the wizard in this case would convert this into the necessary variable. In this case, I think in this case we'll be using data tables. So we all know what data tables are. They are in-memory representation of spreadsheets. When you extract with a data scraping wizard, you would generate a data table variable that you can then use to create an Excel spreadsheet. Did you get that? Hello?
No, sir.
Please come again, sir.
Okay, so I said data scraping now allows us to extract structured data from a browser application or a document. And then this data that's extracted is stored into a data table variable. So if you remember in the beginning of the topic on variable and arguments, we said some types of variables and we listed data table among them. And
yes,
if we know a data table is basically a variable that is used to represent rows and columns, right? Like an Excel spreadsheet. So it's a UiPath memory representation of an Excel spreadsheet. Now, so likewise with our screen scraping wizard, or screen scraping that has a wizard, we also have a data scraping wizard that we can use to implement scraping data from applications or browsers that have structured data, and then we would then populate our variable and a spreadsheet if we want to. So now the data scraping wizard also, it's on the design panel, like the screen scraping wizard. Clicking on that, it will then give us this pop-up window that tells us what we want to do. So we can select what we are scraping from. Yes. let's scrape from this same website. Let's see this. Mistake. I think there's something else. So let's see. Let's use this now. We can scrape from something like this. Can use this one also.
Sorry. I thought data scraping was majorly used for like tabulations, like rows and columns and stuff like that.
Yes. It's used for not just rows and columns, for data that is in a pattern. So
structured format.
Yeah, that is structured format. So, like, for example, let's say we search for automation on Google. You can see that all this information is in a format, the name and then description, name description. So you can use a data scraping wizard, to copy things like this. So it's not just rows and columns. Anything that has a pattern, so we can use this wizard to scrape from. So going with that, let's try to implement what I just said about scraping all these things. So once again, use a data scraping wizard, and then you would want to select. Let's click this instead. Now the next thing that says is select the second element, and that's to allow us to create a pattern. Next. So the next link in everything would be this one, right? So now once we have chosen the fields we want to extract our data from, we now have the option of storing our data or storing the extracted data in columns and tables. And we can think this is where we can name. So now they're asking us if we want to extract the column name and store it in, let's call it, text, and then extract the URL and let's store it in URL. If I click on next, so you can see now that it went through everything all the way through the whole page, and then it's copying every link. So you can see the first one, this is it. Second link, this is it. The third one, what is feature automation? Okay, so it got, what is that? HCL Tech. Okay, so you might have skipped some. I think you skipped.
You didn't skip, they are there.
You didn't skip, you just did not arrange you well. But then you can see all the things, all the links basically are here. All the links in this web page are arranged in a table that has the text and then the URL. So I guess we can see how the data scraping wizard now can allow us to extract data from extract things from structured data. Okay, and then we can finish. And once we finish, we also have the option to check if the data is spanning multiple pages. So like in this case now, on our search now, we know we have our searches extend to page 10. You know how Google works. Now it says identify the element that navigates to the next page. And it could be a next button or an arrow. Press F to indicate it. Now we know this is our next button, so you can just indicate that next. So the UiPath Studio creates a workflow or creates some activities that implements everything we just did. Okay, this is data scraping. And if you like last time when we stored our variable, also our output in a variable, you can see that we already have a variable created for us as a type data variable. and the scope is the scope we have used, or scope that they used in this case. Did you all get that, please? Hello?
Hi, sir.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
David.
Sure.
Yep. So did you all get that, or should I do that again?
Yeah, sir, please go over it again.
Okay.
Please,
So,
one more time, sir. Please.
yeah, no problem, no problem. Now the data scraping wizard. So let me delete this. Okay, no variable again. That allows us to scrape data from any piece of information that is patterned, that is in a pattern or has structure. Now, the same way we opened our screen scraping wizard from the design panel, we also have the data scraping wizard on that panel, and we can just click on it beside, then go back beside screen scraping. Okay, we can see data scraping also. So for just click on click on data scraping, and the next thing it says select a value, open your browser, application, or documents, and navigate to where you want to extract from. Press next in this dialog and the other things like that. So we click on next at that point. Then we locate the table or structured data we want to extract from. In this case, we are extracting from a list of links. So we would navigate to that page. I would freeze my screen by pressing F2, freeze for 3 seconds, then navigate there. Okay, so now I want to extract the link text in this case. Now, once we've done that, you'll be asked to select the second element, and preferably it should be the last element in that collection. So for that, let's use the last element on this page, which is this link here, link 6, predictions about the future of automation. Click on that. Now, once we've done that, UiPath recognizes that we are copying a list of links. So it tells us if we want to extract the URL also, and then the text. Yes, we can do that if we want to, or if we have need to extract the data, and then click on next. So it should present us with a table. Okay, it's just 2 things this time. The table. And because this is exactly what we want to do, let's go back and adjust something. In this case, let's pick this as our next element. Let's see if that will work with. And we see that once we do that, it works much better. So there is some, let's call it some, what's the word I'm looking for? Some manual variability. That is, you will need to know what to select to make it work for different cases. But I mean, it's not prone to errors. But I think they tried, or it tries to work with what we have on screen to the best of its capability. Now, once we have decided that our output is fine, or looks fine, looks well enough, we can finish. Then we'll also be asked now to determine if, or to know if the data we are copying is spread over multiple pages. In this case, yes, it is. We can see that we have about 9 more pages of links that we might want to extract, they would simply say yes and then choose the next button, or the button that shows us the next page. In this case, this is it. So click on that, and then the wizard creates the whole process or the whole sequence of activities that determine or that copies the what's it called? Copies the data from the web page or from the list of links. Is that clear to everyone now? How I did that?
Yes, it's clear. The only thing that is not clear to me is the write file session.
So this write file is for the previous activities, not for this one. But
Yeah,
that
I didn't get previous activity actually too.
So I think try looking at the PDF, and the PDF has the steps, but then it's just two things. You put your input and then you put a file name. So you should be able to do that. And if you're having trouble getting the input, check your variables panel. You should see a variable there of type generic value. That's the variable you put in your input. And then for the name, you pick any name you want to save it as.
Yes, sir. Is it possible to? Hello, sir.
Is it possible to?
Is it possible to collate the data on a spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet, too, sir?
Yeah, it should be possible. So let's see. So let's first of all let's see what the example, what the exercise would be on. If it's on Excel, we just do that. But if it's not, okay. I mean, we've already done a browser, so that is actually not of consequence to us. So let's try Excel sheet. Let's open Excel and let's try and extract data from an Excel sheet. And let's see how we will get our data stored or get our data extracted from the document. So now for those who have Excel on their laptops, you can open any Excel sheet you have. Open one that preferably has data in it.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, sir. Please, I'm having issue with. I don't know if it's actually my system, sir. When I tried to do the data scraping, sir, I got the information and I was about to scrape it. So I had this thing on my screen. This control does not support data extraction. Please select a table cell.
I think we said that, so that means you are selecting the wrong thing. So select something that works with it. Keep trying until you find a cell that supports. I think if you're looking at my screen, I also had that issue. Like when I clicked something, I clicked something by mistake. I clicked my tab by mistake, and it showed does not support data scraping. So I had to select the link in this case, and then it worked.
Okay,
so keep trying, keep looking for. If it keeps telling you, keep clicking on other things that until it can determine that this is a cell, then it would not throw that error. So we have an Excel sheet cell now, and we want to extract this dummy data from it. Now, so let's run again now, data scraping. And then we want to scrape from our Excel sheet. So I'll just go to my Excel sheet. And then now what am I selecting? So I want to extract let's extract the, so what should we extract now? Or should we just get everything? Okay, I'll go with the first.
Let's use everything.
Okay, so you can see what happened now. Let me do that again. Next, so that's now in this, because it's a worksheet or spreadsheet rather, we can only select one cell at a time. But then the way the wizard works is that it would, based on the surrounding, based on what it can decipher, it will try its best to copy or extract everything that is in the pattern. So when I click on this now, you can see that it copies the whole spreadsheet. See, it goes one, no filter apply. Okay, no filter apply on the heading. See, it goes in 001, item 1, desk 1, the exact same price, and so on and so forth. So you can see that we have already extracted everything in this page. Okay, not everything. It's not at 13. You can finish. Finish. Where is the data stripping? Where is my data stripping? I think let's do that again. I don't think it's got executed. So data stripping application. Let's click on this. Nope, that's not what we want. Start from here.
What is it?
9, 50, 50. And it gets okay, so click on this. We are getting, and this time we're getting just seven rows. Then once you finish, extract structured data, number of results 100. Let me table and then let me output that table so we'll see what we have extracted. When I run this now, extract everything we are doing, and then in our output panel, that table. Oh, sure. I mean to it's not this. This is not what I meant to use. I meant to use another activity to display it on our panel. Table. Screen. Table. Then for the output, I want to store it into that variable. Output. Then right line. Oh shoot. Okay, so let's run it now. Let's see what happens. So in our output, you can see that we have data that we have scraped so far from the Excel sheets. It's in CSV format because that's what happens when it converts data table to output. We print it in CSV, but then as you can see that we're able to copy from item 1 to item 7. So there might be some things you have to change when if you want to, for example, scrape everything now from 1 to the end. Okay, so you guys should look. So I guess we've all seen now, we've seen to an extent how we can use this data scraping to extract structured data. And we saw two examples. We saw one from a list of links from a web search. Then we also saw how to extract the same data, set of data from an Excel sheet into a data table. And then we see how to output the data table also. So there should be an activity in the PDF. The activity says demonstrate how to scrape the first 100 results of a Google search. And use the type into activity. Type into and do in the do container indicate elements, measure in the future. So I think this just combines. I think it combines what we did in the last class about control flow. Yes, about control flow and other activities we used in previous classes like type into. So in your free time, you should look into doing this on your own. Look into practicing or practicalizing how to use this data scraping wizard. Okay. Now the last data extraction technique we have in UiPath now is PDF extraction. Now, PDF extraction is the process of extracting raw data from PDF documents, which may contain text or images. And then PDFs are of two types, native PDF and scanned PDF. Now, native PDFs are PDFs that are built from, let's say, PDF, not really PDF software, but PDFs that are built from applications like Word, Microsoft Word, or whatever word processing software you use, or Excel and other parts of the such. So when you create the PDF on your computer from a document, that is a native PDF. While scanned PDFs are PDFs which we can't, PDF that we have converted from images. So when we have an image that we take a picture of with our scanner or with our phone, and then we convert to PDF, that's the scanned PDF. While when we have a PDF that we have created from our word processor, like Microsoft Word or Excel, and then save as PDF, that's the native PDF. Now, before we can actually perform PDF extraction on our UiPath Studio, we have to install PDF activities. And to do that, let me show you guys how to do that now. So on your On your design panel, right, you can see a section that says manage packages. Click on that, and then you will see this whole thing. You can go to the official packages and then search for PDF. Then you have to install UiPath PDF activities. So click on that and then select latest version and then install. Once you've installed, you will need to save. Saving it will install. So once you've saved, it will install the package or the activities into your studio as a dependency. So after you've done that, now you can work with PDF extraction methods that exist in UiPath. Have you all done that, or do you need time to do that now?
So you were kind of fast, so I don't really.
So all right, I'll do it. I'll say it again. So on your design panel now, okay.
Yes.
We'll go to manage packages. I think you can all see manage packages here. You should be able to see it on your screen too, on your studio too. Click on manage packages, and then you go to the official button, like the official filter. Now click on that. Then you search for PDF. You should see a list of activities there, or a list of packages there rather. The one we are interested in is the UiPath.pdf.activities.
Okay.
So click on that and then select the latest version, which is 3.60 or 3.6.0 in this case. Click on that, then click on install. Yes. Then click on install. Then once you've done that, you have to save.
Okay.
And when you save it, to install that package into your studio, and you'll be able to access the PDF activities and methods in your UiPath Studio.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I hope you all got that now.
Yes, it's done. Mine is done.
No, sir. No, sir.
So where did you get lost, or where are you?
Sorry, sir. Mine is saying that no packages are found in my from. I don't know why I'm not seeing any packages. Say none.
It's saying no packages. I mean, that should not be happening. Are you sure you're on the right place? Packages, and you're on official, right?
No packages are
marketplace.
found.
Yes, there's no packages. No package found. That's what I'm saying.
I'm experiencing the same thing. No packages are found.
Okay, in this case, then click on all packages and start again. So have you now found it? Okay, since no one is talking, I'll take that as a yes. Okay, now that we have all installed the UiPath PDF activities, PDF extraction has two activity that is core.
Hello, sir. Please, can you do it again? I've not installed mine. I'm just trying to get through it.
Okay. We have managed packages, and then for those who could not see it, so try searching in all packages and search for PDF. So just from the list of things that come up, look for the one that says UiPath.pdf.activities. Look for this one, and then install it. Install and save. Okay, so let's continue with our class then. Now, I mean, Chibuza, were you able to? Are you now okay?
I'm on it now.
Yeah. Now, there are two activities that are used to extract PDF. Or there are two basic activities to extract PDF. Number one is the read PDF text. Now, this just reads all the characters in a PDF file and then stores it in a string variable. So it looks through the PDF, looks through everything, copies every single piece of text that is there, and then stores it into a string that we can then use to perform some data manipulation or whatever we want to do. And then this activity only works with native PDF. So remember, I said these are PDFs that we have created on our Microsoft Word, etc. So read PDF text only works with native PDF. Now for the read PDF with OCR, it does the same thing as read PDF text, but then uses OCR technology. So it uses any of those OCR engines we saw earlier, the Microsoft Moody, UiPath, Screen, OCR, and then Google Tesseract OCR. And then this activity works with scanned PDF. Okay, so actually this second one, read PDF to OCR, can work with any PDF type, but then it can work with both native and scanned, but then it's preferably used with scanned PDFs because that allows us to extract data from them. Now the activities have their own sections or properties. So now activities partner, we should be able to get a read PDF activity now that we have installed this. Now on the properties panel, now we can see some things. You can see common. And the common is the common. Under common, we have display name. So that's basically the name of the activity we want to see in our workflow. Now, under the file section, this is where we will put the file we want to read from. So we can do that here or here. And then we have to know that if we are putting this, we have to type in the full path. So let's say our file is not on our desktop. We have to navigate from the main directory. That is probably from C to desktop and to that specific file. So it's much easier to get our file location from this, this folder icon here. That allows us to pick a PDF file from a window. Yeah, from a pop-up window. So now we can select, let's say this So now that gives us the full path. It's C to users to user, then documents to the name of the file. So in case you want to type in the path to the file you want to use, you have to know what it is, and then you know that you need to paste it as a string. So it has to be inside quotes. Paste as a string or write as a string into the folder. There's also a property field for password. This is when our PDF is locked, or password locked. So we need to put our password there. So Studio would be able to access the PDF. And the next set of properties include the preserve formatting. This one just tells us if we want to preserve the arrangement or formatting of the PDF. So think of, when I say formatting, think of font size, font color, and spacing and the likes. So setting this to true or false will tell us whether or not we want to preserve formatting. Then for range, this is where we can specify what pages of the PDF we want to copy. By default, it's set to all, but then if you want to select specific pages, so let's say we have a PDF that spans 10 pages, but we only want from page 1 to 5. You would type in as a string the 1 to 5, and then that will tell the PDF to, let me move this space. That will tell the Studio to extract only pages 1 to 5. Or if you want only a single page, you can select just page 1 and remember as a string. So select write one as a string in quotes, and that will tell the Studio or the robot to select just the first page. Now for private is something that is that's only needed when we are publishing to libraries. So we won't look at that now. And then for the output again, this is where we put our variable that we want to store the text in. So let's store the text in. Let's call it output again. Output text or output PDF. So that there now we can write that. So let's write line again. Let's use message box so everybody can see it. Message box, and then you want to use output PDF. If we run this activity now,
Hello, sir.
Yep.
Yeah, the data table that we worked on, can you output it through a message bus?
Yes, we can do that message box too. So it will be the same thing we saw here. To be in this format, the same CSV format. Then you see it on your screen. So as you can see, or if you saw what came up before I closed it. Let me do it again. See. Let me open the document also. So you can compare. So this is document. Passport test. This is what is outputted. And in the PDF, you can see that this is the page 1 of the PDF. Right? And then you can see that because we chose one, we really copied the first page and the like. So that is basically how we work with PDF, read PDF text activity. And so, tomorrow we'll look at the rest of the things under automation concept and techniques. And now I would like to open the floor to questions. Questions, issues, and things that maybe someone is stuck at some point. Let's have those questions now before we call the class, bring the class to a close. Okay, Olarin.
While doing the data scraping, I had this annotation of errors. I don't know if anybody that has the same thing or there is a way you can help me rectify it, sir.
I can't hear what you're saying very well.
Can you hear me now?
Not very well. There's this buzzing something at all.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me now, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you well enough.
Yeah, I said during data scraping, sir.
Okay.
I had this annotation of errors, sir. I still can't figure it out, sir. I don't know if any other person having the same issue. Sir.
You had what?
Error, yes, popping up, sir.
What?
Although my system is dead already, but I can't access anything, sir. I'm just stuck there, sir.
We can't know what we are working if we don't have a system on. So you need to at least show us your errors so we can know how to solve it.
Okay, sir.
I had an error.
Okay, so
I had an error too. I tried sending to the group chat, but it's not. It wasn't going to the Teams in Teams message.
Mine.
Yes, sir. Okay. I just tried to carry out this class exercise for the PDF extraction, and we found out that the stage where it said enter or drag a read PDF text activity into the designer panel. I searched for it, but there's nothing like read PDF text activity.
And have you installed the PDF packages from
the dependencies?
Yes, have you done that?
Yes, I did. So I did that. I followed the instruction you gave.
And you saved it?
I clicked install. Yes, sir.
Okay, so type PDF. So what do you see when you type PDF? What activities do you see?
UiPath.pdf.activities.
No, I mean in your work, in your project now. Not after you saved it, fine. After you've installed the package, I want to know what activities you see in your activities panel when you type PDF. Is it that you don't see anything, or do you see a list like this, like mine, on your activities panel when you type PDF?
No, sir.
You don't see anything?
No, sir.
I'll have you share your screen. Try and share your screen today. Let's look at it together. So in case anyone else is having that same issue, they would also be looking at how we are solving it. And Robert, I'll wait for David to share your screen. Robert, let's hear your
question. I can see it now. I can see it now. Just let us share now.
Oh, it's
Hi,
Robert.
Good evening, Mr. Timilai.
Good evening, Robert.
Okay, my question is not limited to this class we just had. Today's one seemed very simple. It's still on that parallel class we had. whenever I was using the modern, then I moved to classic, and it's always when it comes to opening browser, it opens Edge. It doesn't even open Edge. It opens Explorer.
Oh, so you would need to set that to Chrome. If you don't,
Sorry?
if you are using, I think you want to use Chrome now in this case, right?
Yes, I'd like to use Chrome.
Okay, so you have to set your browser to Chrome in the
I have to
properties
set it.
panel. Yes. Now, let me show you what I mean. Let's add open browser activity.
All right.
Now I have that here. Now in the properties panel, you see common inputs. Now under inputs, see browser type. So now you can choose what browser you want, i.e. Internet Explorer, Firefox, Chrome, Edge, and if you have other ones, you can select custom and then it will.
I see. All right. That is my only challenge. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's very good, Robert. You're welcome. Now, honestly, yes, you were saying you also had something about the PDF. Also, an error rather, not the PDF. You had an error.
Yes, I had an error.
What was the error?
On the,
And do you know the error name?
I tried sending it to the group chat, to the Teams chat, but it wasn't the message wasn't going through. Let me read it. Source gets text div. Message could not find UI elements corresponding to this selector.
So share your screen, let's see.
Okay. Okay, let me connect Teams on my system again.
Oh, okay. So could not find text. So I think what you can try and do again, re-indicate that element on your screen. Are you getting
Should
me?
indicate.
Like,
no, sir.
Go back to your activity, then click on this or these three bars, then click indicate on screen again. Then re-indicate that thing you want to copy from. So select that thing you want to copy from again. And then let's see if that would work. Because what I think what I can decipher from what he said is that there is probably an error. Either that the what's it called? The thing you copied is not open at the moment, or you can't access it.
Okay. I'll try that.
Yeah. Ebenezer.
Hello, sir.
This Ebenezer.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Ebenezer.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Thank you for the class of today, though I couldn't do anything. So why I'm raising my hand is for you to please, though I might be disturbing you, just to help me show me how to do that same thing you are trying to explain then. I think the network is more stable now than it was before.
Thing is that. Hello, Ebenezer.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Then what thing is that?
Yes, sir.
Because we've done plenty of things in this class, so that is specific.
Yes, sir. As a result of the issue I was having, you left it and continued with other things.
Sorry, I'm not sure I understand what you're saying, Ebenezer. Sorry. So what are you talking about exactly? What thing?
How to set my program to classic or something of that nature. That's making my
So go to
window not to show the window.
Go to project.
Sorry?
Look at my screen. Go to project. It's this part of your project.
I'm on project.
Then settings. which is like the sixth icon. And then
Okay.
you should see modern design experience. Set that to no.
Please hold on a bit. My system is still loading it. I don't know why. Okay, okay. I should turn it to no.
Yes.
And it's asking me to reload.
Yes, you have to reload.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, thank you
Hello,
very
sir.
much.
My question is just very short.
I can now watch the class later.
What?
I can now rewatch the class later. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Sorry, could not follow. Welcome.
Hello, sir. My question is just a short one, sir. Please.
Okay, let's Judge.
Yeah, the PDB, the output, the variable we created, is it supposed to be a data table, or is it strange?
For which one?
For the PDF PDF extraction that we did.
The PDF is a string. Remember, in the PDF, we are extracting everything and we are storing in a string variable. We are creating a string.
Okay. Okay, because if I run my data and it's telling me that the extension, the file name is too long. That's the error message given to me.
The file name is too long.
And let me just run it again and give you the correct. It's telling me the file extension is too long.
So let me take a picture. Let me see. So file extension is too long. That's a new one again. Well, so take a picture. I'll put it in the chat. Or you can share your screen. You can share your screen also. And
okay, please, let me just share my screen so you just see it, please. And let me just share my screen so you just see it.
Okay, so for the rest of us, good night.
So, sir, this is the first output message bus. I use message bus for both.
Can't see your screen.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Okay, so for the rest of us, good night. Have a nice night.
I'm still you.
Yeah, what?
I'm waiting for you. I
Yeah.
want to install my UiPath Studio. I downloaded it all over again and it's still not popping up.
So you can see my screen now.
I can't see the what's it called?
You can see my screen.
I'm only seeing black. I'm seeing studio, but I'm seeing some black boxes in front of it. So.
Oh. I don't do that. Okay, let me just stop it and launch it again.
Okay, I can see it now.
Okay, the file name or extension is too long.
Message box. So let's see the message box that you use.
Okay.
Output PDF.
Then the data table, no, I still use a message bus on it. Then the PDF, I use a message bus. So it's running for the data table.
Okay, data table. Okay, scroll up then. If that's not causing the error. Let's look at what's causing the error to know. Data extension is too long. Extension is too long.
And,
so,
and this is what I did. Sir?
Why?
This output data table. This output data table. You need it to pick what you data scraping.
Yes.
Sir?
Yes, it should be able to access the variable you script data from or discrete data in.
Yes, and a variable was created automatically from here, which is this. This is the name, extra structured data. So it was passed here. So, but from here, under this place, it was in the input. So I have to create this on the output data.
Type data type what you call type string. Hello?
Sir?
Is that variable of type string?
And let me confirm it. The out. Yes, or type string. Maybe is that why? Because the input was a data table.
It should be a string. It should be a string. Be a string.
Okay.
So close it. Is to find
Then from there, I
extension.
put a message box to output it.
Yeah, I'm looking at something. So I'm not even sure where that error could be coming from. I'm not sure where the error could be coming from.
Well, maybe what I will do tomorrow, I will isolate them and run it individually to know.
That should work. That might work, but in case it doesn't, try. Nothing comes to mind. Nothing comes to mind. As I said, try isolating them, running them separately, so you know exactly what's happening. Maybe there's a conflict somewhere in the program at some point.
Okay.
Yeah. But then Shegun, quick water.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for today's class.
Welcome, Joe.
I was
Mr.
seeing it.
Timilehin.
I thought we're supposed to have a group. I'm not in any group, or I'm not seeing myself in any group. And I sent a mail, so maybe I sent it to a wrong mail. Maybe you need to give me your mail again so I can send you my. Because I sent it to one Ebenezer stuff. Because I received a mail from that person.
No, that's the wrong name. You meant to be you're not on Discord.
Sir?
You're not on Discord.
No.
Okay, so my mail is in the chat. Timilehin99@gmail.com.
Okay, Tim. I tried to search it on the chat. Maybe it has gone. Maybe there are so many chats there.
I will just type it again. Okay,
Mr. Timilehin.
Yes. Is this Daniel? Okay, please share them.
Popola.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the class today, but I'm still quite stuck on my my UI Studio. I don't know if I can share my screen.
Where is stuck on exactly?
Still giving me errors. Like normally the previous work, I think I didn't come for yesterday's class, but the previous work on variables, or I said on variables, on do while and while too. I had issues with this save. So my work just keep frustrating me, kind of.
Okay. What errors are you encountering?
It's not compiling. It's going to tell me that